Hello and welcome to another episode of the People's Rose. I'm Jarrett.
And I'm Brooke.
And we're your hosts. We are a married couple who love to watch reality TV. And we have another episode of our new podcast where we will be discussing and just talking about our favorite reality TV show. And this is, I guess I would say, it's a special edition of the People's Rose. We're going to call it the golden episode of the People's Rose because this Monday we finally got our announcement. It was finally announced who is going to be our Golden Bachelor.
Okay, Jerry, come through.
Yes, we've been waiting like quite a bit for this show. What was your thoughts on the announcement of the Golden Bachelor?
He is an attractive older man, I will say that, but I also have to be a little bit of a hater and say I feel like all of the pictures are incredibly retouched.
Oh wow, that was you are coming out the gate hating.
I mean, what can I say? He looks great, but I just think he looks too good for a 71-year-old. But hey, I could be wrong. I haven't seen the dude in person. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so this to be clear, the Golden Bachelor is a senior citizen, I guess you would say, version of the regular Bachelor. And so, yeah, Jerry's going to be our first Golden Bachelor. He's a guy from the Midwest. I believe it's Indiana. We learned a lot about him. He is a widower. Unfortunately, his wife passed away 6 years ago. He's 71 years old. As Brooke has said, he's a very good looking dude. He's I believe they said a former real estate agent or something to that effect.
Yeah, I think like a high-end real estate or something like that.
Right. But he's active, he's tall, he's got a full head of hair. I mean, what more could people want in their first Golden Bachelor?
We should also note that they were married for 43 years. So
that's crazy.
No one's going to live up to her at all, not even close. I mean, I guess that's the trajectory not everybody, but a lot of people have when their spouse passes away. But I don't know. I wonder if he's dated since she passed.
Yeah, it didn't seem like that was the case, that he had an active dating life now since he's passed. But it does seem like he has the support of his family, and he does seem ready to go. He said that they'd always said that they wanted each other to be happy and things of that nature, and his family seems to be on board. They're the ones that signed him up, and he just seems like an all-around great guy. I gotta be honest, I'm way more excited for his season than I have been of other seasons, especially The Bachelor's in the past. And so, because I just feel like we're actually going to get, hopefully, an actual, not to say that they haven't been, but a love story. You know, these are people who are genuinely, they've lived life. They know what they want. They know what they're lacking in their relationships or life. And he just seems, and I'm hoping, presuming the pool of people they're talking to be guests, we're going to get that. Do you agree, Brooke?
Yeah, for sure. I can't wait to see the women. I think they're all going to be such beautiful older women. But yeah, I think they've all, like you said earlier, they have all lived so much life. So they have to have a story to tell. Like, unlike these, like, 24-year-old Braydon's who are just, like, pulling some sob story out of thin air.
Yeah, I agree. It's not premiering, I believe, until the fall, and so we've got some time. I actually don't even know if they've filmed it. It doesn't seem like they have. So we got some time in between, but let's just say we will definitely be covering it when it comes, and we're excited for it. Now the things that, I'm excited. This was a good episode, but I mean, it's our weekly, or begrudgingly talking about Braydon segment, but I actually don't think we're going to start with Braydon.
We might as well just get it out the way.
You're right, just to get it out the way. It was, I guess, what you would say was the most fireworks part of the show. Braydon, we started the episode with him just being upset with how it went down. I feel like I'm on a broken record. It was just the same old from him. He wasn't ready. He doesn't know if he can get ready. he told Charity this, but the guys don't like how he's saying it to them.
He's talking mess about all the guys. He was saying Sean has a butt chin.
Yes, he did say that. He does. I mean, Sean does. That's part of Sean's whole deal. And it was just more and more of the same. And just, I mean, it's really the same. If you listen to last week's episode or you watched the episode last week, it just, imagine that same storyline taking place, except in Washington. We did forget to say this. They're in Washington, Charity, and the guys, all the dates are taking place there this week, which, as Braydon made it known, was where he thrived in. I guess he was trying to market himself as a man's man who knew how to forage in the woods. I'm not really sure what he's doing.
He went total psych on that date. Like, total just acting. I don't even know how to describe it. Just crazy, I guess.
Yeah, he was literally like eating the grass off the ground. They were
and then that radish, he kept, or whatever that red thing was. He kept just like crunching on that.
Yeah, I don't know if the producers did a sweep prior to the group date to make sure most of the things in the forest were going to be editable. I doubt it. He decided to eat what he found anyway. And there was a little part of the group date, just sticking to Brandon. We'll go back to the group date later, but you saw all the guys decided they wanted to eat Brandon if they were starving, and they had to eat one of them. And I'm saying Brandon.
You said Brandon.
I've already forgot his name. Spoiler alert, he leaves the show, and I think my brain just mentally filed him away as like people I don't want to really think about again. Of course, we will probably see him in Bachelor in Paradise, but yeah, okay, so they had like a quick little vote as if they got lost in the woods. Who would the guys eat first to survive? And they all voted Braydon, which I guess showed Charity just how much he just wasn't. Nobody likes him. Not to say, actually, that's not true. I don't think it's that nobody likes him. They all are just annoyed by him and his whole personality.
I think even the little like Girl Scout girls that were there on the group date, they were annoyed by him too, because remember, he got them their food and he was like, sorry, I ate it. And she's like, you ate the food that you were giving to us?
Yeah.
Like the little sass. It was so cute.
Yeah. I thought it was funny how they were asking who was the smartest of the guys, and they said, is it Braydon? And Charity's like, no, definitely not Braydon.
Let's talk about how he left, because so they go to the like, you know, romantic part of the group date, and the guys are talking about they start getting into it, Aaron B and Braydon is just like, I just can't believe you did me so dirty last week, basically. And Charity just marches in there and she's like, what's the conversation? That was such good energy from her in that moment. I loved it. But then it made me mad when she pulled Braydon aside to talk. And then he was the one, she basically was like, well, what do you want to do? And he was the one that was like, I want to leave. I wish she would have just been like, you're done. Yeah. You can go, like, I'm done with you. I don't want to be with you. I wish she would have been the one to make the decision.
Yeah, she's coming strong like that, like, quite a bit. And you're right. You get excited and you're like, okay, we're finally going to see her put her foot down. But similar to how Braydon talks a big game with the guys and then doesn't really follow through in their one-on-one conversation, she always comes up and she's like, okay, what's going on? Let's talk this out. Let's handle this. Not with like, hey, explain yourself or hit the road. Which I guess it just goes to show you how highly she thought of Braydon inexplicably. She kept saying he reminded her of a previous relationship. And so that's why she was holding on so strongly to it. And you're just like, what? She always talks about her previous relationships outside of Braydon as guys that cheated on her and who she had deep mistrust for. So I just couldn't understand the strong attachment to Braydon and why she thought, especially since he reminded her of her previous relationship, why she's a guy that should stick around. But they're talking it through, and you're right. She's like, let me hear your side of the story. And Braydon, just like you said, just kind of decided, hey, I'm done. I don't know if I can get there.
Right.
But that's not how she presented it to the guys. She kind of maybe beat around the bush and made it seem like it was her decision for Braydon to leave.
Yeah.
But that was not at all the case.
But I will say, whenever he came back, okay, so he left, he's gone, and then he made an appearance again at the cocktail party in freaking flip flops.
Oh gosh,
flip flops.
Echoes of Chad, yeah.
And at that, okay, so when he talked to her, he didn't say, like, I want to come back. He just said, I didn't like how we left things and I wanted to make it right.
Not only that, go ahead.
Well, and Charity was like irritated, like visibly irritated. Do you think that's really what he intended? But once he saw how she was acting, he kind of flipped the script?
I think this is honestly how I read the situation. So he said, I don't think I can get there to Charity. And he left out of there initially that first time, maybe with the assumption that, I'm the one who decided that it wasn't right for me and I could have stayed if I wanted to, which honestly, he probably could have. Charity probably would have accepted it from him. And then when he came back, I think, actually, even before he came back, I wonder if he started to think like, oh, well, what if I start to get depicted in a negative light on TV because she's really into me and I leave early. Now I'm the bad guy, because the way he said it was almost to seem as if he was like coming back to be like, you did nothing wrong. I'm here to support you. And like he wanted to lift her up just so it was clear he was a good guy.
Right, yeah.
So I don't even think he had any intention on getting back with her. I really truly think he doesn't. He actually was not even as into Charity as he wanted to be led on. Like, I don't think he actually was that into Charity. I think he was just into being the guy. And so I think he was just kind of hedging his bets by being, oh, Charity, you're the best. And hopefully, just in case he had a negative spin, he hoped that might save him. But I think he grossly overestimated how he was being portrayed and how he was coming off to Charity, the guys, and the producers editing the show.
Yeah, you're probably right. But he's gonna be on Paradise, and he's gonna be, oh, I got the villain edit, but I'm not really a villain.
Oh, you know. He's gonna be cast as like fun loving and free. And there's gonna be some girl who's really just wants fun loving and free. That's fine. And just just wants to be with some guy from the franchise on the beach. So he'll do great in Paradise. Right. But that actually, just to tie off the Braydon storyline with a bow and hopefully never have to dive too deep into him again. As he left, Aaron B.
Oh, yeah.
And John, because he interrupted John. We didn't really talk about the fact that he had interrupted Johnny while Charity and John were kissing.
Was literally creepily standing there watching them in this, like, huge... it was just this huge room that they were filming in.
Right. Yeah, so the guys were upset, and Aaron B. and Braydon have kind of had this saga. It's kind of interesting because I'd say 100% of the time, even if a guy's going crazy, unless he's like causing bodily harm or being racist, discriminatory, or harassing people, I'm always of the, hey, just don't snitch. Just make your time about Charity, But for whatever reason, Aaron, who still seems to be a strong contender, did not follow that no snitching route, and I just think, because of that, I was okay with it because of how annoyed Braydon makes me. But in general, Braydon and Aaron B. have kind of had this back and forth, and this was kind of the final straw. He backed up John, who was mad that Braydon came back and interrupted him, and then they're back at the van, and he's yelling at the van, press the gas, driver, get on out of here, and things of that nature. And it really was kind of lame, and now that that Braydon is gone, I'm back to seeing how lame that is and seeing how much annoying that is that Aaron B was acting like that.
Especially because he had already left. He was like trying to, I think, cover it as, you need to apologize to John. You disrespected John. But I'm like, listen, Aaron, I think this is more about your feelings towards Braydon and less about John's feelings.
Right. In general, like, these are guys we never really see interacting with or, like, causing a fuss about Braydon. Doughton, never really involved.
No.
Joey keeps his mouth shut. Xavier talks to Braydon, but it's always calm and level-headed. And it's never too Charity that we've seen on the show.
And he was like, Aaron, what are you doing? Like a couple eps ago.
Right. I think that's, in general, the better way to do it. You only have so much time with the lead on these shows. If you waste your time in drama, maybe that's why you came on the show, to be a reality TV star. The mission accomplished for Aaron B. But I think just in general, it's just really not good on advancing your relationship with the lead, Charity. And speaking of advancing relationships with the lead, we finally got some time with my guy, Doughton. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Doughton went on our one-on-one. It was our first one-on-one in Wisconsin. No, why do I keep forgetting that?
Washington.
In Washington this week. What do you think of Doughton's one-on-one?
Oh, it was great. It was excellent. Okay, first of all, the producers did them so dirty by making them bungee jump because they both were like, this is so my worst fear.
Right.
And I don't want to do it. I would say I would never do it. Like, come on. And you're going to make them do that?
Yeah, I think that it made for good TV. Just like you said, sometimes it's not. They're still producing a TV show, so I think that's all this was. This new, just like you said while we were watching, and we've heard many times before, these high exhilarating moments makes your heart beat, and when you're on a date, that's the kind of feelings you want to feel. It can bring you closer together when you go through those exhilarating moments and your hearts are beating together. So I think that's what they were trying to accomplish with Doughton.
Right, of course, but that's such a false sense of security.
Well, I think it was good that they followed it up with like some actual like talking about their lives and what they want out of love. And I think Charity's really big on that. She does that with the other dates, but Doughton just seems like a guy that's his natural element anyway. He always seems to have something he would say, but not really in an annoying way. Just kind of like, I know how much time I have, so let me tell you about me, my goals, my family, my upbringing. And that's the exact kind of things that Charity likes, including his willingness to always compliment her, which again is, I think, did she say this or we just observed this, is like her love language, if you're familiar with that, seems to be. And so yeah, it was just I think it was a good date, and I think it's a good sign for what's to come with Doughton and Charity.
Yeah, he talked about his immigration story, and then she talked about growing up in a suburb in Georgia where there wasn't a lot of black people.
Yeah.
Why are you laughing?
Well, I mean, I get that the connection that Charity was trying to make. And I think it's in general good to make connections when people are talking to you. But I'm just thinking it's like Charity, I think that's a little different.
For sure.
Than winning the immigration lottery to come to a completely different country crossing the ocean.
Sure.
She was like, yeah, there weren't a lot of people in the suburbs. And yeah, I totally get it, Charity. But I mean, sometimes the connection you make is that your experience is different. But no, it's fine. They had a good conversation. They seemed to have a really good, easy connection. So I think Doughton, he's still high on the list. He looked to be in a lot of the previews. We're going to get to it. I think it's very clear right now who the top four are. Now, and I agree. I could be dead wrong, but it looks like Doughton is up there. Xavier, I don't know. We didn't see enough of him, but I thought he had a good one-on-one. But okay, let me see. These are the for sure. Doughton, Joey, and I guess Aaron B.
Well, yeah, because we're already down to top 6.
Right. Well, you're right. It's not like
I don't even know how that's possible. But basically, that would mean like the two outliers are obviously Tanner and Sean. Like they haven't really even shown.
Oh yeah, I would be shocked if Tanner. Well, first of all, we see Sean in the preview kind of saying like, "Yo, I'm not taking you home." Like, what are you talking about? Like to the home.
Yeah,
and then Tanner, this is maybe the first words he said on the show that people recognized him to be a person on the show, Tanner. So I just am like, one, yes, those are those top four. But doesn't it? This season has gone by like really fast.
Yeah,
I
don't know why. I don't know if they had like a smaller window or what. But after this next episode, we're gonna be down to hometowns, right?
Right.
So that's like a 6-episode season.
It could be one of those things where the ending of the show is they drag out and make it last, way more episodes than we're expecting it to.
That could be true because in the preview she said and this could obviously be a producer trick, like could be being punked, but she says, I've regretted my decision. I wake up regretting my decision every day. So
no,
I
thought she was saying I don't want to wake up regretting my decision.
I just watched it 3 times.
Oh, you did?
Because I was trying to see what she said.
Yeah.
And maybe she could have said something like, I don't want to wake up every day. I don't know. They could have pieced it together weird, and maybe that is what she was saying, but I don't know. I'm like, could there be some after the final rose drama? Yes, of course. There always can be.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But also they made it, okay, I'm jumping ahead because I'm trying to talk about what is to come. So I'll put a pause on that.
No, let's get to that real quick. I think that's way more interesting. Just really quick, Xavier had a one-on-one and it went well. He
Yes, justice for Xavier.
Yeah,
I love him.
I think we're Xavier fans. They both got the Southern connection. They are very driven. Of course, she already has her master's and is a counselor, and he is striving for his.
And he had such a sweet story
right.
about why he's doing that with his mom.
You're right, which is what Charity needed from their relationship. Yeah. It showed him that he had more depth, that he wasn't a player. And you know what was weird? She said that he reminded her of his ex, but it was a bad thing as opposed to a good thing with Braydon, unless I'm just misunderstanding her.
No, I think they were both things that she was like, I'm weary of this. Because, I mean, okay, look, if you've been in a toxic relationship, then it's going to affect, like, you're going to think about it and compare it to every relationship following. Right. That's just how it works. So I think she's just like comparing, and she said, he's only telling me nice things about myself. That's all she's gotten from him, and that to her is suspicious.
Okay, I hear you, but that's also crazy, seeing as how the guys that only say nice things to her are also the things that she likes. She says she needs that positive affirmation, and she clearly leans into it, but I guess that's why I'm confused on the kind of double standard.
Yeah, I think she likes it, but she also knows there needs to be a balance. Like, it can't just be that all the time. Like, you have to also tell me, like, your true thoughts. Like, you're annoyed that I leave the cabinets open or whatever it is.
I wonder if that's why she was still drawn to Braydon, because he was every time just kind of like, oh yeah, I love you so much. Exactly. Or not I love you, but not, oh, I like you so much, but also I don't know if I really like you.
Exactly.
If this is even going to work. And she's like, oh, well, let's see. That's what I'm worried about, her ability to pick the right choice.
Yeah, I know. And even in the preview too, she said, well, I don't know. I haven't had the best track record. I haven't picked the right people. So I don't know if I trust myself. Like, dang, girl.
Right. I don't know with her. I'm hoping she finds what she's looking for, love, picks the right person, whatever that ends up being. But I gotta say, at this stage, I'm worried because it looks like Aaron B goes far, and you see a lot of previews of him looks like to be waffling, and same thing. It looks like Sean is saying he doesn't know, and we see her having a conversation with someone who says, "How could you not know?"
Yeah.
And then she's also saying she's in love with two people and she doesn't want to get regrets.
And even Joey's person was like, "Do you know for sure that you have the real, genuine Joey?" Which I'm like, what is he hiding? Right. What's going on there?
I don't know if it's marketing or if it's just the nature of how the show is being produced in this era, or what people are like, or if they've done research on what people are interested in. But a lot of these promos have become doom and gloom.
Yeah.
See, what was interesting about previews for the season in the past that went crazy, like you'll never believe how crazy it is, because things hadn't happened like that before. And yes, this is a romance dating show, but oh wow, he jumps a fence. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But you can't make every season have a fence jump.
Yeah.
You can't make every season have a Ari leaves Becca to get back with Lauren.
Yeah, but then we're like, it was so boring. How many
No,
times
I
did we
don't
say
think-
Zach's season was so boring?
I don't think it has to be boring. Like, think about one of our favorite seasons, The Bachelorette Canada. That wasn't like, oh, it's doom and gloom at the end.
Okay,
or,
that's valid.
and it was just a really good. And sometimes the drama is not because, oh, a big scandal happens, but the two choices are at the end are good choices.
That's true.
And you're like, oh my gosh. And now you're like, she should do this for these good qualities.
Yeah.
She should shoot this guy for these good qualities.
Right.
The guy she didn't end up picking, spoiler alert, for Bachelorette Canada, if you ever want to watch that, remember, was like a really good guy and almost kind of underdog.
Yeah.
And she went with the choice that at the time seemed right for her. I don't know. I don't think they stuck together, but
No.
still, it wasn't because, oh, he wasn't ready or something like that. It just was a good season that had a
true.
minor drama along the way. So that's what I'm saying. I wish, and it could just be editing. This could end up happening still. That Charity is like, oh, she's getting what she wants, but it's just a hard choice, but it's ultimately a love story. That's what rom-coms are about.
Yeah.
You don't want to watch a
you're right.
rom-com that ends with like, yeah, and then it was a disaster and like no one was happy.
Right.
Every once in a while it's good to see a diversion like that, but if every movie came out and was just like, and you're like, there's 5 minutes left in the rom-com, you're expecting some conclusion, but they're like, she doesn't know and she never will. Bye. You're like, oh, okay.
Right. Yeah, I think, but okay, I'm thinking if Joey, Xavier, and Doughton are final three, I'll be happy with that. Like, I think that those are good choices.
Right, you're right.
But, okay, we also didn't talk about who shows up. Because there's another scene to come where they show somebody walking up to her and she, like, gasped and is like, I couldn't believe it. I thought I saw a ghost.
Oh, yeah. And in addition to that, we see a preview of someone. She's sitting at the door, and I presumably telling the producer that someone is refusing to leave.
Oh, yeah. Like, what?
So that's what I'm saying. It looks less to be like, it just looks kind of like it goes off the rails a little bit.
Well, even tonight's rose ceremony was very emotional. Like, lots of tears, lots of sad goodbyes.
Yeah.
So, I think it's getting pretty intense.
Okay. Yeah, it's going to be, I think all we know right now is that it's going to get a lot more intense. And what I don't like about all this early Braydon drama is because now we're done with the Braydon drama, and now it's like we're now just starting the actual show part of the show. But I guess that's just the formula. That's how it always happens.
Goes, yeah.
One final thing on the Bachelorette, unless you got something else, is I don't understand her thought process on taking Sean, Mr. This is Cashmere. Remember he said that about his scarf over John and Michael. Michael, yeah, he didn't get as much time. They probably didn't have a greater connection. But John, truly, I felt like was just as strong a contender as Sean was. All Sean did was he took his shirt off and saying, girls just want to have fun attitude.
Kissed her in front of everybody.
Oh my goodness.
Part of me feels like she likes a little bit of a spicy guy. I don't want to say bad boy because no.
Yeah.
But like I almost feel like John was too sweet for her.
I've been following her on Twitter and she's a lot funnier and a lot wittier and a lot more sharp. Like direct and almost kind of like I can't think of a word, but yeah, just like a wittier and like says more cutting like things when she's tweeting about the show. But we're only getting all sweetness Charity, except for when she walks in a room and pretends like she's about to do something. But maybe it is possible she wants a little bit more of like, yes, I want to be sweet, but I also want, like, if I rib you a little bit that you can rib back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But okay, that's basically it. It seems to be a kind of by the numbers season, but we will keep watching and we'll see what else happens coming up on the Bachelorette season.
Wait, but what did you say? By the numbers?
Mm-hmm.
But we were just talking about how it's going to be a dramatic ending.
Well, that's the point I'm making. I feel like they're trying to turn dramatic endings into like
The
every
new
season
thing.
have a dramatic season
Yeah, you're
ending.
right.
Like I don't even remember what happened with Zach's season because whatever, who cares? I mean, I feel like that season's just long gone. But every other season we've had besides that one, they've at this point in the season when they do the preview, it's like it's about to go off the rails and get hectic. But
True.
it is what it is. Okay, let's take a breather from the Bachelorette. Let's just let you get on your soapbox a little bit. What other things have been happening in the reality TV world that you wanted to address, wanted to talk about?
Honestly, so much. So, okay, we need to talk about Kardashians.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know if you'll have anything to say, but in this week's episode,
Mm-hmm.
first of all, Kim did this prank where she was like, told her family, I'm gonna be the Bachelorette.
Okay,
And they
I saw
were all,
that.
did you see that?
I saw the people talking about it.
Yeah. And I don't know how many times she said, the president of Disney is in on this prank. I'm like, okay, Kim, we get it. You talked to the president of Disney for this prank. And even Chris, like, called him, whatever his name, Rob Mills called him.
Okay.
And was like, he really was acting like he was in on it. But I'm like, okay, so is Hulu related to Disney?
Yeah, you knew that.
I don't keep up. I don't know that.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah.
But anyway, so it all was just like I'm sure it was all just like a, what's the word? Not conspiracy.
Well, it's like synergy.
Yeah,
I think it's all just like cross promotional stuff.
That's what it is.
That's what I thought it was because Disney owns Hulu. They want you to watch the Kardashians, and if you watch reality TV and you watch the Kardashians, they'd also like you to watch the Bachelorette and the Bachelor. And if you watch the Bachelorette and you don't watch the Kardashians, they want you to look and see like, wait, Kim Kardashian's going to be the Bachelorette. Let me watch that episode and see what they're talking about.
Right. Yeah, you're exactly right. So, yeah, but they were all acting like it would be like the worst thing ever. Like, I can't believe Kim would do that. That's not her thing. I'm like, why not?
Right.
But, I mean, would I really want to watch that? No, because I feel like she would be so fake. And actually, Chloe was like, I just don't see her being her true self on there.
Right,
and I think that's kind of what she was saying. But in other news, Chloe was talking to Rob. So Rob, he didn't actually make an appearance, but we heard his voice, which we haven't heard in years on the show. And it was very sweet. And she said that he might return, which is cool.
Yeah.
And she planned a party for Dream, which is Rob's daughter with Black China. And she was like, yeah, I don't really have a relationship with Dream's mom. It's kind of hard to have a relationship with somebody who tried to sue you for millions of dollars. But we all know that Black China is now on her path to rediscovery, self-discovery.
Right.
And so I am hopeful that they can what's the word?
For a co-parenting arrangement?
No, like
reconcile.
Reconcile, that's the word.
Yeah.
I'm wanting them to reconcile just for the sake of, I don't know, niceness, genuineness.
Well, their children?
Yeah, for the children too, but I just mean like, I don't know, I just think it would be a good part for her healing journey. But, so that was pretty cool on the Kardashians. Kim and Kroy are...
Who's Kim and Kroy?
Kim is from Real Housewives of Atlanta. Kroy is her husband. Mm-hmm. They have been married for, probably like 10 years now. Maybe not that many, but They said they were getting divorced, and then they decided that they weren't getting divorced.
Yeah.
Which is where they're at now. But some videos came out of when they had police come to their house, and basically it was ridiculous. Kim is such a con artist. She's like totally just, she always has been.
Right.
There's this, she's so infamous for this on this one season. She's like, she has this sugar daddy, I guess, called Big Papa.
Yeah.
That she would always just be like, oh, Big Papa this, Big Papa that. And she just like casually went and bought a Cadillac one day on Big Papa's dime. Like she's just that.
Okay.
So when her and Croy got together, it really did seem like they were a good match, but it also seemed like maybe he was a little crazy too.
Right.
And I think the video pretty much proved that. I mean, it was just weird, but he said that she had spent like hundreds of thousands of dollars playing like gambling over the past 7 years.
Yeah.
And so they essentially have no money left.
Right,
and
right.
And his career is shot. He doesn't play football anymore.
Right.
So that's just messy. And then Claire Crawley is having a baby, which is cool. Didn't even realize that she had gotten married, but she did.
I think we did. We talked about it.
I just forgot. And then I saw that. And yeah, so that's cool. I think that's all for my reality.
Okay, got it. Most of the times, I don't have much to talk about outside of the shows that we talk about because I like more of the competitive reality TV. But this is a clear room, everybody. If you're listening on your well, if you're one of the people listening, however you're listening, go ahead and get that volume knob ready because I might be getting a little passionate about this. Like I said, we'll pop in every once in a while on Project Runway. Brooke and I are still trying to catch up to where they are currently. But man, what was that, episode 5 that we watched? Mm-hmm. Basically, if you watch Project Runway, you know what I'm talking about. And if you don't watch Project Runway, you won't. And I'm about to tell you. There's this designer. Her name's Anna. She's into ruffles. All right, that's her thing, right? Okay, yeah, she likes ruffles on her clothes. That can get played out if you don't like ruffles. But she sticks to it. She has a design aesthetic. She has a way of thinking. She has a personality. Oh, also the clothes she wears is way better than anyone else wears on that show. She's very committed to who she is. That's cool. She might not be the best designer, but she does have a point of view, a frame of view, however you want to phrase it. So they do a challenge where everyone has to design from the same piece of fabric, this red sheet of fabric, red bolts of fabric. I learned that, added that to my vocabulary. But anyways, and everyone, the guides, the mentors, what they call this designer named Christian Siriano, who kind of guides them through the show. Christian is telling them, everyone's using the same fabric, right? So don't go outside your wheelhouse. Show the judges what makes you you and what makes you special, right? Did people listen to him? No. Everyone made the same red dress in varying degrees. Some did actually very good.
Not everyone.
Yeah, I just said some did actually outside the box, like Bishme did really good. And there was others like Brittany, really great design. I think she won, right? Yes. She's from Austin, Texas. Go Brittany. She shared an inspiring story. But back to Anna. Everyone else, though, for the most part, not everyone else, but mostly just draped a red dress in varying degrees, except for Anna, who wanted and followed the advice to put ruffles on her dress, right? And yes, she's put ruffles on her dress before, but that's what they wanted to see. What made her her? She put ruffles on her dress. She didn't finish the dress. It kind of didn't look the best. Everyone thought she was going home, but no, she was in the top 3. Why? Because the judges said, you showed us what we wanted to see. Your perspective, your point of view, what makes you you. Everyone else made the same dress. Yes, yours wasn't the best, but we saw what you were doing and we get it. Ruffles, right? And instead of being, good job, Anna, we didn't expect that from you.
Yeah.
But it happened anyway. All the other designers got so salty.
Yeah.
They're in the green room because they're not in the same room that the designers that are getting judged While the judges are, they're in a separate room and they're just going back. I can't believe she's already made a dress with blah, 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 blah. Why is she in the top 3? She should go, it's not fair. Blah, 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 blah. It's like, grow up.
Oh, we can just make the same dress we've already made before? Okay.
Right. And I'm glad you said that because they kept saying that over and over again. Like, all of y'all made the same red dress and we've seen this red dress a million times. I'm not even a fashion designer. I can't even remember those other dresses. But you know whose dress I can remember? Anna's. Why? Because it had ruffles on it. Why? Because Anna likes ruffles. And it's just, she handled it with grace, and there was other designers. Kira's son stood up for her. Bishme stood up for her, kind of in private in his one-on-one. The rest, Corto, trash. Kane, trash.
Yeah, and then Kane confronted her about
right,
it.
Inexplicably.
He was like, do you not think that your dress looks so much like the one that you just made? Like,
lame.
what?
It was lame. It was classless. They should be ashamed of themselves. I hope they lose. I hope Anna wins. I hope Anna becomes the ruffle queen of fashion design and her kids get $100,000 from mom when she becomes a world-class fashion designer, and Cordo and Kane have to work in the Macy's store selling her clothes.
Oh my gosh.
And that's my honest opinions on that.
Harsh.
Okay.
You don't want to ask if I have anything to say about Project Runway?
Brooke, do you have anything to say about Project Runway?
No.
Okay.
Except for go Brittany. She did great.
Brittany, if you're listening, hey, come on the podcast.
Brittany, come
it's
interview with us.
It's a 3-hour drive to Houston. You'll be fine. Or you can ride your bike to Houston. Okay. Anyways, yeah. So we're excited to watch and catch up with Project Runway and just continue talking about that. We're actually excited. Well, we're not really excited about this. If you've been keeping up with the news, that the Writers Guild have been on strike since May, and then the Screen Actors Guild just announced and went on strike this past week. And so, productions are shut down on TV and film, both streaming and network, and theater productions, feature films. And so, if history is any indication, we are about to get just a fall and who knows how long, just the foreseeable future of so many reality TV shows, which is great for us.
But we also love a really well done scripted TV show and movie.
Yes.
So we are a little bit sad, but we do want them to have fair wages.
Yeah, we want them to have fair wages. We want them to be fairly compensated. We want the people to be able to make a living doing what we love to enjoy and consume. And so, yes, we are all for the strike. We're not saying it soon, especially because as a person as a couple that just started a reality TV podcast, it's feels like the perfect time.
Right.
We're gonna probably see. We already know we're getting the Golden Bachelor.
Oh yeah.
We already know that Big Brother is kind of been pushed back a little bit to cover up. We're gonna have Big Brother, Survivor, Amazing Race, Golden Bachelor, all going on at the same time.
Yeah, those are all the fall.
We'll probably get some circle episodes.
Wait, did you say Survivor?
Well, I mean, we don't care about Survivor. I'm just saying reality TV shows.
Yeah, true. Okay.
So, I mean, just prepare. Maybe we'll pick it up. We won't have any other drama shows to watch.
True.
We might just find ourselves that bored enough to add it. But yeah, so I mean, that just a little bit of news there. But the other big show that we're recapping this episode is Claim to Fame. Mm-hmm. We had another good episode, I think. Claim to Fame is just getting, I think it's, I don't know if it's getting better and better each episode, but definitely as the season progresses, we're starting to just see what all this show can be.
We're starting to, sorry.
Go ahead.
I cut you off. I was just going to say, we're starting to see the split, alliances being formed.
We're seeing alliances. I hope they get alliances. I hope alliance names become a part of the show.
Oh my god.
That's a big staple of Big Brother.
If you know Big Brother, you know.
And so we're seeing that. We're seeing betrayals. I guess we'll go out of order, but it ended up with Cole. And we saw that Cole and Shane had been flirting, and had a
Oh
flirtatious
yeah, yeah, yeah.
relationship.
Right.
And just, I mean, not to get into the nitty gritty. If you watched the show, you did, or if you did, you didn't. But basically, Cole ended up the guesser and had the option between the sure bet of Shane, who everyone knows to be Eddie Murphy's relative, but he also is flirting with her and has a good relationship with her, or take the chance on Carson, who we discovered this episode thanks to, who was that initially discovered?
I think it was JR. Oh, sorry, I think it was JR.
I don't even know who JR is.
He's the one with the busted foot.
Oh yes, JR was the first to kind of key in on that Jeff Gordon, based on that clue that we discussed last week. We saw last week, is her relative, and it has to be. It has to be. Anyways, Cole had to choose between those and ended up choosing Shane.
Yeah, because there was too much uncertainty around Jeff Gordon, because Carson caught wind that they were guessing Jeff Gordon.
Yeah.
And she was like, that's wrong.
Yeah, it was a beautiful move. Okay, we're going to talk about that Carson move because I think that was masterfully played. But yeah, Cole ends up sending Shane home, which upsets Monet because Shane and Monet had actually become kind of a power couple or power alliance partners. People were suspecting them of being strong together and expecting them of manipulating the game because of what they thought they did to Jane last week by setting her up. So as Shane, she got up there, she said, wow, I'm shocked by this. She's leaving. Monet is kind of talking to Cole as they're leaving the elimination, I guess, area outside, basically saying, you're in trouble. We know who you are.
Yep.
And that's how we found out that, based on clues of seeing a diary, a piano, and looking at Cole, who is very light skinned, of the fairer complexion, even though he has African features. Diary, piano, looks like Alicia Keys. Diary of Alicia Keys. They have guessed that Cole is related to Alicia Keys.
Yeah.
And if you just do a search of Alicia Keys' brother, guess who pops up?
It immediately pops up.
And you see them next to each other, and you're like, oh, of course they're siblings. So Cole is kind of in a hot water, but that's the kind of betrayal we saw. Now back to Carson.
Wait, but it kind of makes sense. Now, Cole is in hot water, but everyone at the same time was kind of like, whoa, I can't believe he did that to Shane. But then you saw that he's apparently dating Emma Watson?
Well, I don't even know how old or reliable that news was.
Oh my gosh, okay.
That was a picture that showed up. As many pictures of Cole with...
I should have fact-checked you.
Oh my gosh, fact-check. Yeah, our resident fact-checker wasn't on her job. So anyways, Cole... kind of in hot water, but at least we're seeing people make moves that's best for their game and not just to placate either people they like or that's on the show, or the house. That's what I meant to say. So, of the reason he wasn't, like you said, sure on Carson's clue, it's because this is how it went down. The house starts to suspect that Carson is related to Jeff Gordon, right? And Shane and Monet and the side of the house that they're on, of course, doesn't want the guesser to pick Cole. And so they start trying to convince either Hugo or Cole, hey, Carson's relative is Jeff Gordon, and you should pick her. We know it for a fact. We look at her clue. It had the champion racer, 24, Budweiser, right? That's 100% Jeff Gordon. That's just who it is. However, Carson approaches Chris Osmond and is like, oh, was it Chris Osmond?
Yeah.
No, who did she talk to?
Chris.
Yeah, but before
first she talked to Cole, and Cole was like...
Oh, yes. He talked to Cole, and Cole said
they think it's Jeff Gordon.
She did not react.
She didn't react.
She's just like, oh, thank you for telling me. No one else told me. I don't know if it's immediately. They edited it. See, we don't have live feeds. Made it look like she immediately went and told Chris, oh, okay, it's okay if Cole's the guesser, because if he picks me, he'll be wrong. But they told me who it was, and they're dead wrong. So if that, I feel a lot. She just, like, her demeanor changed. She's like, I feel a lot more comfortable about them being the guesser, because they're going to be wrong. Whoever is the guesser, if they pick me, they're going to be wrong. Which, of course, sent doubt. She knew that would get back into the house.
Yeah.
She didn't have to tell everyone. She just had to tell the right person, which she did because Chris told Gabriel.
Chris is all in everybody's biz.
Right. All she had to do was sow enough doubt that it was like, no, why would I do that? Let's go with the sure bet and go with Shane.
Yeah.
Which is why I think that worked for her. How long it's going to continue to work as more clues are revealed.
Right.
I don't think but you gotta go week to week in games like this. You gotta make it.
Right.
So Carson actually and Olivia were actually kind of in an alliance.
Carson, Olivia, and Chris.
Right.
But Chris is so playing the field that it's kind of like, I don't know.
Right. So, just a couple other quick highlights. Chris ended up winning the challenge, which we'll talk about in a second. But the challenge he won gave him a winner's clue. And who did he pick for his winner's clue? Hugo, right? He said that would be the best pick for him.
Oh, yeah.
And we got Hugo's clue. It's just... I just haven't even looked at this enough. We got a finger motioning come here. It says come
dear
into
a policeman or a pilot?
Oh, commander. Yeah, commander in chief. Okay. Commander in chief who peanut farmer. And I don't know what those last two ones, but it's Jimmy Carter. Hugo's Jimmy Carter.
Why are you so certain about that?
Because commander in chief, right? Commander chief. Who is a farmer. The only recent commander in chief who I know is like farmer as part of like what we know about him is Jimmy Carter, right? He was right before when he became president, he had a peanut farm that he got rid of because he didn't want it to have a business that was unfairly gaining advantages because he's president now.
Oh, yeah.
Back when presidents did cool stuff like that. But I don't know what those last two things are.
They're like funny faces. Two funny faces. Funny farm?
Oh, gosh. Yeah, we don't want to have a commander-in-chief who went to the funny farm. Then it might be somebody totally different.
Wait, but who was... They guessed someone else for Hugo, too, didn't they?
Buzz Armstrong.
Oh, Buzz
Aldrin.
Aldrin?
Because there's a B in an astronaut suit, I believe. Someone in there, I think, is related to Buzz Aldrin, but maybe. I don't know who it could be.
And then also another one we talked about last week was the Nicolas Cage.
But we never remembered who that was. Who we thought was related to Nicolas Cage.
I don't remember.
And now looking at the people left in the house, I don't even know who it could be. Oh, Olivia, maybe?
Maybe. But they said the cage-free eggs. There's cage-free eggs there. Yeah. Oh, but that could be a peanut farmer wouldn't have cage-free eggs.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's definitely commander. It's a commander-in-chief of some president. Okay. That was something we discovered. And then finally, so the competition was they saw these statues. They were blind. Well, they didn't see the statues. Statues in the field. The house was separated into teams. They got blindfolded and had to fill up the statues. Guess what they were feeling, right? They were statues of various objects that were clues to each contestant's celebrity relative, right?
I would do so bad at that.
Right. So you had to they at one point felt what was a tire that was easily guessed to be a tire, and that's of course linked to Carson, who we all assume is Jeff Gordon. There was a shrimp. I don't know who that could be for. There looked to be a planet back there. I'm guessing that was for Neil deGrasse Tyson because it looked to have some old clues. And we saw that Gabriel said the burger statue. He said, "Uh-oh, that's my clue." Right? And because his relative was related to Keenan and Kel. And looking at Gabriel, I would venture to say he's related to Kel.
That's awesome.
Right.
Now, everyone still thinks that his celebrity relative is an athlete.
Right.
So I think he's on a really good track right now.
He's still really covered, but I think it's one of those things that when you start getting clues that eventually, because as the season goes on, the clues become much more obvious.
Yeah.
So when you start getting clues like good food, restaurant, so Nickelodeon, they're gonna be like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah, true.
So yeah, we had a good episode of Claim to Fame. If I had to pick right now, who's in the best position, I would say I think you're right. Gabriel's up there. I think Olivia's up there only because they have no idea who she is, so they're not letting it on.
Right.
And I don't think anyone sees her as a target, so she can skate by to the end.
Right.
But as I said, it was the golden episode in honor of the Golden Bachelor. I don't know if...
Wait, we didn't talk about Olivia throwing the comp.
Yes, and that's good strategy.
Yeah, she had good strategy.
So that's another reason she might be... Actually, I'm going to put Olivia, I think, as a front runner right now, just because of how she's playing, and no one knows who she is.
Yeah, I would agree.
So yeah, she tried to throw the comp because that was advantageous to her. She had people on her team who she didn't want to be in a good position. It didn't work, but at least she tried it. Mm-hmm. I think that's all for Claim to Fame and all the reality we had to cover this week. We don't want this to be a 17-hour podcast.
But our loyal listeners will listen to the bitter end.
Should I? Okay, right. Not this episode. One episode we're gonna put like something like if you say this word, if you're the first person to comment this word, right, to listen all the way.
Do we have any comments? Period.
Yes. Okay. This is a good segue into this. I'll say it again, Brooke. We have polls that sometimes go up with our podcast. We do have comments. If you'd like to leave a review, you can do that on Apple, iTunes podcast. We'd love and appreciate that. Or Spotify. You can actually follow us on Spotify. That's where all of our polls and our comments we left. But you can again use any of your favorite podcasting apps to listen to us. We're on. It's a podcast. You can find us anywhere. If you'd like to follow us on social media, we've got Threads, we've got Twitter, we've got Instagram, we've got Reddit. You can join us in all of our favorite subs where we join the conversation. And we're at the People's Rose on all of your favorite social media, and peoplesrose.com to find every podcast platform you can listen to us on. So yes, it won't be this episode, but maybe we'll do more interactive stuff as our listener count goes.
Sounds great.
But thank you for listening. We hope we have an eventful reality TV year this year, and you listen to us talk about it the whole way. So we'll see y'all later.
Bye.